Minor traffic incident leads to Arkansas 15, shooting of woman on the spot. On a cold February night in 2021 in Denver, Colorado, no one could have predicted that a minor traffic collision would lead to a heartbreaking tragedy, leaving a 6-year-old boy motherless. The victim was Pamela Cabriales, a 32-year-old beautiful real estate broker and loving single mother to young Leo. On the evening of February 20, 2021, after dinner with friends, Pamela was driving her Range Rover on Interstate 25 through Denver. When stopped at a red light at the I-25 and Colfax intersection, an unthinkable tragedy unfolded. In the Honda ahead were two people, driver Nashawn Johnson and a 14-year-old teenager named Remy Cordova in the passenger seat. Cordova claimed Pamela's car had slightly bumped their vehicle. In a moment of youthful impulsiveness and violence, Cordova asked Johnson, "Can I shoot them?" Johnson replied, "Do what you have to do. That's your business." Without hesitation, Cordova exited the car with an AR-15 rifle and opened fire on Pamela's Range Rover. Witnesses reported hearing 15 to 20 shots fired. Jaden Aarons, a witness driving home from a date, recalled, "I initially heard pop 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 pop, but didn't realize what was happening until cars in adjacent lanes started moving." Aarons had to duck down, fearing being hit. Alex Martinez, another witness returning from a soccer game, saw the perpetrator in a hoodie raise the gun. Martinez stated, "I saw the muzzle flash. About 6 flashes. My first instinct was to duck down, fearing I'd get shot." When emergency services received calls reporting gunshots, first responders and police quickly arrived at the scene. They found Pamela in critical condition inside her Range Rover. The rear window was completely shattered, and officers counted at least 8 bullet holes in the vehicle. "Ma'am, I'm going to cut your seatbelt. I'm Officer Lurd from Denver Police," called out the first officer on scene. Medical personnel immediately began emergency treatment. "She's been hit multiple times," a paramedic reported as they tried to stabilize Pamela. Police officers quickly searched for the victim's identification in her wallet while medical teams focused on saving her life. The crime scene was strictly secured as rescue workers operated under high pressure. "Keep pressure there," a medic instructed colleagues as they tried to control Pamela's bleeding. Rescue workers struggled with the power seats to better access the victim. During these tense moments, the emergency team coordinated professionally and swiftly. They decided Pamela needed immediate hospital transport. "Ready? We need to get her out of here now," a team member signaled. The ambulance rushed away with sirens blaring. En route to the hospital, medical staff continued their efforts to keep Pamela alive. They did everything possible to save the young woman. However, despite doctors and medical staff's dedicated efforts over several days at the hospital, Pamela's wounds proved too severe. She passed away days later, leaving behind devastating grief for her family, especially her 6-year-old son Leo, who now had to live without his mother. Investigators later confirmed that multiple bullets had struck Pamela's head, causing irreversible damage. This attack wasn't just a senseless act of violence but a tragic demonstration of how a momentary impulsive decision could take a life and leave irreparable consequences for those left behind. The hunt for the killers began that fateful night. Initially, police only had scattered witness accounts about a Honda and gunshots in the night. However, a coincidence helped break the case. The next day, during patrol, a Denver police officer spotted a suspicious vehicle. This car was initially thought to be connected to a different shooting at McDonald's involving gang activity. The officer didn't know this was the same vehicle used in Pamela Cabriales' murder. When police approached, the car's occupants acted suspiciously. Nashawn Johnson, the driver, later recalled during interrogation, "We were at a red light when we saw police beside us. They followed us from behind. I turned right. They drove, turned left. They kept following. The atmosphere in the car became tense." Cordova, who had shot Pamela the night before, repeatedly urged Johnson, "Bro, just run, run." Johnson, who had no driver's license and was panicking, complied. "Kids these days, you know, they'll run from police or do anything to escape police." Johnson later explained about his decision. The chase occurred on icy road conditions. Johnson attempted to turn but lost control and crashed into a curb. "Everything happened so fast," Johnson recalled. When he said, "Run bro, run," I thought, okay, I don't have a license. I don't have anything. After the crash, the occupants scattered. Johnson found shelter in a nearby warehouse. What he didn't realize was that this decision would lead to crucial evidence for the case. When police found Johnson in the warehouse, they also discovered shell casings matching those from the murder scene. Faced with this evidence, Johnson still tried to deny involvement. Nobody gave me anything. But investigators had enough evidence to link him to the crime. Remy Cordova, though only 14, was no stranger to the justice system. According to Denver police records, Cordova had a criminal history from a very young age. Investigators had tracked and identified him as an active member of a local gang. Despite being only middle school age, before this murder, Cordova had multiple run-ins with law enforcement. Police had intervened several times in Cordova's gang-related activities. Prosecutors later revealed that committing such a bold murder wasn't just an impulsive act but a deliberate effort by Cordova to prove himself and advance within the gang hierarchy. Due to his criminal history and the severity of the case, prosecutors petitioned to move the case from juvenile to district court. They argued that despite Cordova being 14, the brutal nature of the crime, along with his criminal history and gang involvement, warranted adult prosecution. The court agreed, and Cordova faced 2 serious charges: first-degree murder for Pamela Cabriel's death, and first-degree attempted murder for endangering another driver in his line of fire. During the trial, prosecutors detailed how gang influence had shaped Cordova's behavior. They pointed out that the excessive violence, firing multiple shots at an innocent woman after a minor traffic incident, was Cordova's way of demonstrating ruthlessness and commitment to his gang. When the final verdict was delivered in November 2023, the court considered both Cordova's youth and the severity of the crime. The life sentence with possibility of parole after 40 years reflected both the need to punish a brutal crime and acknowledge the rehabilitation potential of a juvenile offender. Though Pamela is gone, her legacy lives on through her son Leo. The community showed strong support through a GoFundMe page established for Leo's education fund, raising nearly $70. Pamela Cabriel's story is a heartbreaking tragedy about how a moment of violent impulse can take a mother's life, leaving a young child orphaned. It serves as a warning about the harm of gang violence and youth access to weapons, while highlighting the importance of anger control and peaceful conflict resolution.